First, the Big Bells Award could have gone to anybody tonight, but we had a first tie. These two guys could have won it, but it went to Bryce and Tomba for that sweet move in the lane. This was the best defense we played all season. The guys were totally locked in because of their respect for Creighton, ability to score. And there were so many times where we almost got the shot clock down to 24 seconds with just awesome defense the entire night. This is a very good shooting team, a very good motion team, and they shot 32% and 27%, and that's outstanding defense. Dillon did a great job of running the offense, putting pressure on the other player. Just did a terrific job all night, and Mitch was great. They played off him, and he was such a great facilitator, just moving. Both of these guys are just great basketball players, and I'm proud of both of them.
Okay, let's start with questions for Dillon or Dillon. Who's that?
For Dillon, darling. Dillon, you had one of your better offensive games again. We've kind of seen that more and more of late. What is your confidence like offensively? Last few weeks.
Yeah, just trying to stay aggressive. That's really just my mindset. Trying to stay engaged offensively, and honestly, just paying most of my focus on the defensive side of the floor, and then the offense will just take care of itself.
For Dillon Mitchell, Dillon, when teams are playing off of you on offense and you're still able to generate 5, 6, 7, 8 assists a night, what's allowing you kind of to do that even though teams are trying to pack the paint against you guys?
I look at it as a strength for me. We have a lot of offensive threats, and it's my job to try to get them good shots. Just using it to our advantage. I don't try to fall into it and just stop and not know what to do. I actually ask for the ball, try to get the ball to try to get the other guys open. So I look at it as an advantage for me and for the team.
He's a summa cum laude basketball player. You always pray you get one or two guys. Meathead here is not as bright as him. That's the thing. But he's a summa cum laude, and this guy's just tough as hell. If you got to get a rebound in the game, he's got to get it. So, and this guy here is, 7 assists, 0 turnovers, 10 rebounds, a steal. He's just a great basketball player.
For Dillon Mitchell, one of the things that you've done over the win streak is have at least one steal coast-to-coast layup. It's almost like you're looking for it in every game, and it's usually a momentum changer for the team. Are you aware? Do you look for that? Are you looking for that in the game to make the shift for the team?
I think for us, it's just getting out and running fast and playing in transition. I think we're a really good transition team, and we got to have more opportunities like that. And I think it's a lot of us that can do that. Bryce, Josan, Ian, Dillon. It's a lot of us that get the rebound and push it and take it all the way. And I think it's just a strength of ours. It's just getting out and running.
Same question for both of you. I'd sort of like each one of your takes on it. You guys are now going into a very challenging game against Connecticut. It could mean a great deal in terms of the standings at the end. How prepared do you guys feel about, and how do you feel about the way you guys are playing going into it?
Go ahead, Mitch. It's just all about preparation now. Waking up tomorrow, getting back to work, preparing for what UConn does as the next game on our schedule, and it's just, preparation wins games. So it's getting back to the drawing board, figuring out what we got to do. We played a great defensive game today, and we're gonna need another one next week. But there's still some weaknesses that we will take from this game that we struggled with, and we'll work on it.
Yeah, I think that was beautifully said, Mitch. I don't really have much else.
How do you feel about the way the team's playing now?
Yeah, you can't get too high, but we're, like Mitch said, we're gonna wake up tomorrow, focus on UConn. We're gonna have to be engaged the whole time and try to best prepare for them.
How excited are you for the opportunities at the game?
I'm always excited. I'm excited for every game. Obviously, to go play at UConn would be pretty cool, but I'm equally excited for all the games.
For football players, you know, Rick and coaches like a few days ago had talked about you guys were 60-70% of where he thought you could be potential-wise, and a lot of that was defensively. Felt the team had to get better, a lot better defensively. How much of that is been a talking point in practices and preparation that, you know, that you have to get better defensively, and how much do you think that led to how you defended today?
I mean, I think for us, it was just locking in on the scouting report, understanding what we got to do, and just going out playing hard. I mean, but it means nothing if next week we go out and play a terrible defensive game. So now it's just about being consistent, continuing to work on it, get better at it. And we just know that not only is going to win us games, that can win us championships, the defensive end. It all starts on that side for us. So it's just waking up, get back to work, and like I said, it won't mean anything if we don't come out with that same type of mindset, that same type of approach next week.
All right, thanks, guys. You're all set.
Rick, we saw Ian warm up. Was he like, would you have gone to him if needed? And how was
Well, we could have played him, but we have a pretty standard rule that if you don't practice, you don't play. That's a standard rule when you have time off. Probably could have practiced yesterday, but I always find that if you don't practice, you come in, you always get hurt again. So we'll have him for Connecticut. He's ready to go. And tonight was our best game from so many different areas. We were great defensively, attention to detail. Our assistant coaches have been brilliant all season. Stevie Mass may be one of the best scouts that I've ever had, and I've had some great ones, including my son, who was terrific. But Mass is great, Bob's great, Ricky and Talik has got Connecticut. He's great. Our staff is doing a phenomenal job of getting the guys. It's one thing to be a great scout and break it down, but it's getting the players to listen to every little detail. And they're listening to every little detail, and I'm proud of them for that.
Coach Pitino, so Bryce Hopkins has been a game changer over the last 5 games, averaging 16 points. Could you give a comment on how he's been playing and like the leadership he's been providing to the team as a veteran?
Yeah, I think he is playing great right now. Like I said, he has now won 3 Big Bells Award. And it's really a very competitive award. And he's won 3 out of 4. So that's the guy who's doing the most at all facets of the game. So he's playing great right now. I think when you come off an injury and then you go to a school and you don't even know the players, it just takes time. And he's totally tuned into the guys right now, playing great ball.
Rick,
Roger.
Before the season, we sort of took a look at the guys who you had brought in and who was back, and asked you about like taking a bunch of very offensively skilled players and teaching them to play defense. How do you feel about how far they have come?
Well, tonight was the best defensive performance by far. They were totally, I think when they realized that they beat Connecticut, that if you allow them to run their offenses and go back door and get threes off, you can lose to them. They're as good as anybody in the Big East. So they were totally locked into it, and that's what we're after, is that type of defense. Offensively, they shared the basketball. They did a lot of really good things. You know, we had 20 assists, 11 turnovers, and some of those turnovers by Dillon, you know, throwing the ball off the court when the guy wasn't looking, really wasn't terrible plays. The guy should be looking. So we played a great game tonight, one of the best games of the season.
Coach, when you look at the chemistry the players now have going into this Wednesday game and how crucial it could be, what is sort of the key point you're looking for in them from this game? Creighton obviously beat UConn. You guys beat Creighton. Best game of the season. How do you carry that momentum forward?
I think our guys, you can tell by their answers, they're not going to be more excited to play Connecticut as they did Creighton or Seton Hall or Georgetown. Our guys are really locked into every opponent because every opponent must be played differently. They have different strengths. Certainly Connecticut has a lot of strengths. So this is no different than tonight's game or Providence game. It's the same with every night out. You guys, you know, think one's more important, but we don't lock in that way. And you can see it in everything, in every game you play. If Xavier came in here, we didn't play real well. We weren't locked in defensively. And they learned from that. They said, let's not have that again. gotta give credit to Xavier for what they did, but we weren't locked in.
Rick, you guys have been a good shooting team all season, but in this building, I think you're around 20% from 3-point range this year. Is there anything, like, is there a way to explain that, or is it just something that happens?
Taking good shots, it's not bad shots. No, I think we could shoot great here as well as any place else. I don't think there's any jinx of the Garden for us. We played a brilliant game offensively with 20 assists. She shot 46%. We shot great free throws. So, no, it's not the building. I can assure you of that.
Last one, Zach.
I'm gonna ask you another question about the streak you might not love, but I mean, to reel off 13 in a row and to play the way you guys have for the most part during the strike, are you at all surprised to, I mean, from when you said our backs are against the wall to not losing since? I mean, how do you, is it just a matter of it just was gonna take time to a lot of new players? Like, how do you?
Well, I'll admit to one thing, Zach. My messaging to you sometimes has a purpose to it. I'll admit to that. I want my team to think it's adversity when it's really not. When we're moving laterally, I want them to understand certain things. So I use you as my messengers, okay? Because you're so well renowned and so well respected that you can get the message out there that sometimes I can't deliver. So I want to thank all of you for that. I really appreciate you getting the message about defense. You got the message laterally last year. I don't think we've lost again. So I owe you guys a lot. Anytime you're out, I'll buy you a beer.
I mean, are you at all surprised though to see what's happening?
I'm surprised about the road, Zach.
Okay.
That's very difficult to do in this conference. Very difficult. I really am surprised at that. I'm not surprised when you win at home. You're supposed to win at home. I don't know if you're supposed to play like we did tonight. I mean, what we did tonight was brilliant at all facets of the game. Yeah, we didn't make threes certainly, but every other thing was brilliant. It was a great game by the guys. They were totally locked in. The walkthrough was great. We got up at 7:30 to walk through. A lot of teams sleep in. So I think they're a dedicated group. They all buy in. They all root for each other. They want it badly, and they're delivering. You know, it's one thing to want it, but you got to deliver. Thanks.